In a small town in Maine, there stood an old dilapidated house on the edge of a lush forest. For decades, the house had been uninhabited and townsfolk claimed it was haunted. The story went that a gruesome family murder had occurred there, and ever since the ghosts lingered. One day, a young man named Jack came to the town. A city dweller tired of the hectic life, he decided to take a relaxing vacation in the countryside. When he heard about the haunted house, his curiosity was piqued. Jack was a skeptic. He believed the tales were just stories made up to scare children. At dusk, Jack packed his backpack, grabbed a flashlight, and headed towards the house. The cawing of crows echoed through the woods, and as night fell, the moonlight cast dappled shadows through the leaves. Standing before the house, Jack felt an inexplicable tension as he looked up at the crumbling exterior and sagging window frames. Taking a deep breath, he pushed open the creaky wooden door and stepped inside. The house was pitch black, filled with the musty scent of decay. Jack turned on his flashlight, the beam illuminating the dust-covered furniture and walls. The silence was deafening, broken only by his footsteps echoing through the empty house. He entered the living room, where he saw an old worn-out sofa and an antiquated television set, its screen covered in dust as if untouched for years. Feeling bored and ready to leave, Jack suddenly heard faint footsteps from upstairs. His heart skipped a beat and the flashlight beam trembled in the darkness. According to logic, the house should be empty with no one else inside. Swallowing hard, Jack decided to investigate. The stairs creaked under his weight, each step a reminder of the house's age and decay. Reaching the upper floor, he saw a long hallway with several rooms on either side. At the end of the hallway, a partially open door emitted a faint glow. Jack walked to the door and pushed it open, revealing a nursery with a dilapidated crib and some faded toys. Suddenly, a low sigh came from behind him. Jack turned abruptly but saw nothing. A chill ran down his spine, as if an invisible hand was gently caressing his neck. He shivered involuntarily, wondering if the ancient house had unnerved him. Just as he was about to leave, he heard a soft crying sound coming from the crib. Every hair on Jack's body stood on end as he slowly approached the crib, his heart pounding. Peering into the crib, he saw a pale little face, a baby staring at him with hollow eyes. Jack stumbled backward, dropping his flashlight, the beam dancing erratically around the room. The baby's cry morphed into a sharp, mocking laughter, as if ridiculing Jack's fear. He bolted for the door only to find it tightly shut. Frantically pulling at the doorknob, he couldn't get it to budge. Then he heard a low voice behind him. "Why do you disturb us?" Jack turned to see a shadowy figure in the corner of the room. It was a man dressed in old-fashioned clothes, his face contorted with anger and pain. Jack recognized him as the ghost of the murdered father from the legend. The ghost slowly approached, muttering, "Why do you disturb us? Why did you come here?" Terrified, Jack pounded on the door, desperate to escape the horrific place. Suddenly, the room's light flickered on. Jack turned back to see the ghost had vanished and the crib was now empty. The room returned to its eerie silence, with only Jack's ragged breathing breaking the stillness. Not daring to stay any longer, Jack raced down the stairs and out of the house. He ran back to the town, glancing over his shoulder, fearing the ghost might be following. Reaching a small inn, he shakily recounted his experience in the haunted house. The innkeeper listened, his face growing grim. He told Jack that the house was indeed haunted, the site of a brutal family murder many years ago. The ghosts had never left, forever bound to the place of their tragedy. Jack decided never to return to the house, quickly packing his things and leaving the town. Years passed and the house remained uninhabited, still standing on the forest's edge. Every night, low sighs and a baby's cries could be heard from within, as if reliving the terrible past. The townsfolk knew that the ghosts in that house would never rest, not until the truth behind the murders was finally revealed.